2024 has been a year full of restaurant chain bankruptcies. We've watched Red Lobster go under, Buca di Beppo, Roti, BurgerFi. We're seeing a lot of closures this year. And now every bankruptcy has its unique causes.
You have to establish a shared truth first. Your board, your investors, your executive team, even all the way down to their front of line employees. Everybody needs to understand, where does the business sit today? What is working? What is not working? And once you've established this shared truth, then you need to align on a path forward.
I'm John Bringardner. I'm head of Debtwire. We're a global news data and analysis service focused on any corporation that issues corporate debt.
My name is Brandon Coleman, and I'm a CEO in the restaurant industry, currently CEO of Cotton Patch Cafe. I've worked in many different brands across my career. For the last 15 years, I've been leading either marketing or brands, various brands from Dave & Buster's to TGI Fridays to Macaroni Grill.
All kinds of companies fail every year, and there's kind of a baseline of bankruptcies happen. In 2024, what we're seeing seems to be a confluence of two trends. First, the pandemic forced restaurants to take on a tremendous amount of debt out of the blue just to survive, particularly sit-down restaurants that lost most or all of their business for months. And that's a tough blow for any kind of business. But on top of that, the chains you're seeing go under are those that never really recovered. Second, there seems to be particular trouble in the family restaurant or casual dining sector, and that's a function of changing eating habits among Americans.
When you look at COVID, we had an accelerated cost for our supply chains and for our labor, as well as for many other things that service the restaurant. When faced with this, many brands had to choose different paths. Some chose to absorb the cost for the short term and position themselves better for long term. Some brands chose to innovate around these costs, and other brands chose to pass along these costs to the consumer. And when you start to put that pressure on the consumer, they're choosing with their feet. They're voting which restaurant they're going to go to based on their perception of the price-value equation.
And these restaurant chains that have been going under lately, Red Lobster had over $1 billion in debt. TGI Fridays has a little over $300 million in debt. So these are large chains that have large amounts of funding behind them. Hooters is another chain that we're watching closely at the moment. They have a similar level of debt as Fridays. It's a similar structure, and they suffer from many of the same issues. It's a legacy brand that everyone knows, but they took a big hit during the pandemic. They have new competitors, and they've not refreshed the brand in a way that gets people back into their restaurants.
But while there's been many articles written about the loss of luster for the casual dining space, you see some brands that are really winning in this space, specifically Texas Roadhouse, Chili's, and now with Cotton Patch Cafe, we're seeing the same thing. But the consumer preferences have changed. A lot of the younger consumers want a less service-based experience. It comes down really to the brand's specific price-value equation. What is the guest getting versus what are they giving up? Any brand that is able to deliver a strong price-value equation for the guest has tremendous growth potential. And we see that. We see that in Chili's numbers that were just posted. I believe Chipotle just posted positive comps. So while there may be less white space that Debtwire is referring to, there's still opportunity for growth in the restaurant space.
I think when we talk about the fast casual dining heydays being over, it's really a certain type of restaurant that has been around for 20, 30, 40 years. That many of us grew up with, and it's normal for a lot of those chains to turn over time. Tastes change, and if a chain does not evolve with their customer base, then it's not uncommon for them to step aside. I think that's the biggest trend that we're seeing, and that we'll see continue to evolve in the years ahead as restaurants start to adjust to being delivery services and catering to the audience who want to have that restaurant experience at home.
The most important lesson is it's all about the people. The people that lead the restaurants on a daily basis, those are the people that in the support centers that we serve every day. And if you put the people first and you have the right people and you invest in coaching, training, mentoring, and making sure that they have a strong quality of life in the restaurants, your guests are going to get that benefit.